Hey guys, welcome back to the Guy Blog podcast. It's been a while, but I've wanted to get into a better habit of recording, of getting episodes ready, and actually thinking through what the topics are going to be. Also, I wanted there to be something for me to talk about that is not just of interest, but I am doing some shorter episodes. I'm going to do some longer episodes. This should be a longer episode. So today we're going to be talking about CM Punk and not the whole AEW trajectory and not going just deep on that, but CM Punk, him leaving AEW and potentially going to WWE. So let's get into it. Once again, welcome back. I really appreciate you guys giving the show a shot. And we're going to keep this as best as possible, a show to just be positive and have fun. But today's topic, it's a little hard to look positively at CM Punk's career trajectory. To be clear, CM Punk, Phil to his friends, is somebody that as a person we wish nothing but success for. And to be quite honest, at least from the outside looking in, that is exactly what he has had. He has had success everywhere he's gone. From his time pre-WWE, so Ring of Honor, Indies, all of that, gets into WWE. And despite the fact that he felt unappreciated or underappreciated or underused, he did have massive success in WWE. Left WWE, did his own thing, and to be quite honest, he was successful in his time off. Some people might think, well, he wasn't on any big wrestling programs until AEW. He didn't have anybody paying him a lot of money until he got to AEW. He wasn't on TV regularly until AEW. He wasn't wrestling regularly until AEW. Perhaps you think, hey, in UFC, he did horribly in MMA. That was a failure. I'm here to tell you it wasn't. I'm going to tell you why I believe all of us are not failures. They're actually all part of the success that Phil, who we will just stick on CM Punk, Phil Brooks, CM Punk as, for this podcast, for this episode. We'll refer to him as CM Punk. I will tell you why I believe that all of those are successes. If you, as a child, dreamed of becoming a professional wrestler, you give an arm and a leg to have the career that CM Punk has had at any company he's went. So whether you want to go to Ring of Honor, WWE, or AEW, his run in all of them, if you could have one of those, you had a successful wrestling career. Now, if I could say that you dedicated your life to one thing, and in this case, that one thing is wrestling, but you really, really wanted to try your hand at doing something completely different at the highest levels and see how you would fare, but you feel you're a little older, you feel I haven't dedicated myself to that, but I want to give it a shot. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to put the energy I put into my main career, in this case wrestling, and put it towards something else, in this case MMA. Well, Phil did that. And he did it when he was older. But he was able to use his cachet, his reputation, his pull, the ability to sell pay-per-views, to get a contract as an MMA rookie, as an amateur MMA fighter, and get fights on the biggest platform in the world at that time. Be compensated financially very well for that, and get competition that was commensurate to his talent level. Meaning, fighting people he had a real shot of being competitive against. So he got to test himself out. And win-loss record, he lost. Nobody's denying that. But the ability to get there, the guts, the work, honestly, the bravery, the courage, the just the unmitigated, like, unescapable, indescribable drive to be able to do that has to be commended. It has to be. Because 99% of us, if truly given a chance to fight in MMA, to do it at the level of the UFC, to get paid like CM Punk got paid, and to do it at that stage, we would wilt. I don't know if I would. I don't know if you would, but maybe somebody most people most people in your family, most of your friends would wilt under the spotlight of having tens of thousands of people screaming for you to probably lose if you are a CM Punk. And for you to go out there, do all the interviews with all the doubters, all the naysayers, all the history saying that you should lose. And not only do it once, but do it twice, meaning you do all of that, you do lose, and you do it again. Knowing, in case you didn't the first time, knowing what you're going to have to go through, not only physically, but emotionally and psychologically. I commend that from CM Punk. I commend that because it's not easy. It definitely is not. So him doing that is a success. Him being able to do what other people couldn't do is a success. That the result is not a win does not mean the experience is a loss. So I commend him for that. Then, after that, being able to get into AEW on his terms, also amazing. Getting back into the thing he loves, apparently almost more than anything, amazing. So, CM Punk has had success after success after success after success. And yet, it seems that the biggest failures he's ever had are not on his win-loss record in wrestling and MMA and anything. His biggest losses come by his own hand. CM Punk is someone who is not satisfied by the wins he gets. However, that lack of satisfaction seems to take him to dark places. He does not seem to be able to own his wins and understand that losses, naysayers, haters, if you will always exist. He has created a habit of that being the haters, the losses, the people that don't believe in him, the people that said some shit about him. He's created a habit of using that as the fuel that drives him, that without it, he just doesn't seem to have the same motivation. He's just as good, as we can see during the start of his runs. He's just as good. He can get it done and do it at a high level. But the drive to do it over and over and over and over when he has to do it, that drive is fed not by just his pure will of doing it, but that will comes from showing others that he can do what he thinks that they think he can't. And that's the problem. A lot of times, nobody has said anything. Somebody could sing his praises for 20 minutes, and if they make one comment that he feels was derogatory, was demeaning, was vengeful or hateful, or denies him of his success, that one comment buried in an avalanche of congratulations, that's all he hears. And not only does he make it something that drives him, it's something that he uses not only as his, his gas, his driving force, but it's also the thing that he can't help but comment on and address. And not only address it the way that only he knows how. Or let's flip that. Address it the only way he knows how to address things. Because he could address it a million ways, but CM Punk only knows one way, which is 100 miles an hour head first. Even if the thing he's addressing is a mountain, a brick wall, an unmovable force, something that doesn't exist, the edge of a cliff, he will drive at it 100 miles an hour. Be damned whatever happens to him. And that's what ultimately led to the end of his tenure in WWE. And he could talk about how mistreated, the health issues, the bad medical advice, all of these things are factors. But the main driving force getting him out of WWE was him being unable to accept that there are people there that don't appreciate him to the level that he believes he should be appreciated. Then we go, he has a good time by all accounts, because he has a lot of money, he has a loving partner, he is living a life that he wants. He does everything he wants on his terms. And therefore, he wrestles only when he wants to. So he doesn't have to put up with anybody. He doesn't have to listen to haters who didn't like his last match. Because his last match was 3 months ago, 6 months ago. It was under a mask. People weren't sure if it was him. So he doesn't have to put up with, hey, 2 weeks ago he was awesome, 1 week ago he sucked. For the past 10 weeks before that, he was amazing. And hold on to that 1 week that somebody said something. He didn't have to do that. So we had CM Punk chill somehow. And we got to appreciate him when he came out. Whether that was for one interview, whether that was for one match, whether that was for MMA, whether that was to do commentary, to write an article, to work in a movie, to do any of these things. We got little tastes of CM Punk. And CM Punk coming back for those short bursts to do whatever it is he wanted to do. Number one, is doing only what he wants. Number two, doesn't need the money for anything. And number three, is only getting love each time he comes out. So he's in heaven. Then a promotion comes out that is here not to rival WWE immediately, but is making a lot of noise and automatically becomes the number 2 to WWE's number 1 in the wrestling world. Just leapfrogs New Japan, All Japan, Stardom, ROH, leapfrogs everything. Impact, whatever. AEW automatically is the number 2 promotion in the world. And he can be a part of getting it closer and closer to really becoming an annoyance for WWE. Plus, he gets to wrestle with all these new people in an environment that he has more control over. He gets that. He's happy for a while. And then the people that he was so happy to wrestle with, the Young Guns, the Hangman Page, the name after name after name after name. He's getting these opportunities and taking out the fact that he got hurt here, he got hurt there, and was out all this time. The time that he is there, all he's doing is holding grudges. Because it seems this one person said a thing about me. It seems that this other person made a comment about me. Sometimes he was right. Sometimes the claim is dubious. All the time, for every single one of these cases though, it does not matter. You are automatically one of the biggest names on the brand, one of the biggest names in the company. You're working with the people you want to work with. And nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to force you to work with somebody you don't want to. So you have a good gig. You're getting paid a lot of money to do the thing you love with the people you want to do it with. Not only that, but yes, you'll get asked to work with this person and that person, but you are allowed to veto all of it. What wouldn't all of us do to be able to work somewhere where we're doing something we love? We work only with people we like. And yes, the company has some people we don't like, but anytime we're asked to work on a project together, we get to say, nope, I don't want to work with John. I don't want to work with Jason. I don't want to work with Kara. I don't want to work with whoever. So we would all take less money to be in that environment. He's getting paid the most money while being in that environment. And even when he got injured, had to go home, whether he wanted to or not, for 4 months or 6 months or whatever amount of time that he could have cooled off. When he came back, you just noticed, because he was very obvious about it, that he did anything but cool off. If anything, he simmered. He boiled. He came back on a mission, not just to prove people wrong, but to tell them off in the process, publicly and as loudly as possible. So this goes on to the point where he actually gets fired from AEW. And it is unbelievable. A billionaire business owner that is your biggest fan, and you push them to the point of having to fire you or completely destroy the morale of his company. But not only that, not only was that a choice, got to a point where he basically had no choice but to fire you, because his legal team was not going to allow you to stay unless the owner was willing to let the lawsuits fly. Because that's what's going to happen. I work in business. I work in HR. I am telling you, that was what was going to happen. Anytime that anybody, after the last incident CM Punk had, anytime they had an issue with him and he stayed and they got reprimanded, was going to be fuel to the lawsuit fire. And AEW as a company was going to have to pay for each instance. And the lawyers, I am sure, were telling Tony Khan that way before the last incident. And it just got to a point where he's getting physical with people now. Undoubtedly. No more mutual combat. No more he said. No more we don't like him. No more people don't like him or he doesn't like people. He is initiating physicality, physical issues, physical confrontations with coworkers in public, in front of other coworkers, with other contractors and non-contractors, in front of management, because Tony Khan is management. And even went and, fearful for his life or not, threatened management in front of everybody. Listen, wrestlers, there are people that call them carnies. To me, they are just as creative as a graphic designer, as creative as a gymnast, as creative as a football player, as an NBA player. They just have an alternate career. They're humans. There are rules to those businesses. So he is not, they might be different than a 9 to 5, but there are rules. There are red lines you should not cross. And CM Punk has shown and was showing Tony Khan over and over that he has an inability. He is incapable of acknowledging that red lines exist for him. Now, unlike most people in the world, he's managed to make so much money despite being oblivious to red lines existing for him in any workspace. But that doesn't mean that everybody has to keep him. So he loses his job again. He has no lawsuit. He could sue, but he has no lawsuit. There's no way he would win. He could get some sort of settlement, but then it would screw him because he couldn't work anywhere else. And now, before he went to AEW to screw with WWE. And now he wants to go back to WWE. Is it because he all of a sudden loves it there? No. Is it because management changed and now he thinks that it's a way better place than when he left? Hell no. He thinks the medical staff is completely different? No way. Triple H is still there. Vince McMahon is still there. Yeah, the company merged with another company, but that other company is the UFC. And he could like Dana White all day and night, but still. Triple H, the guy he says he hates, Vince McMahon, and basically management is still the same people as when he left. The structure is pretty much the same. But he's willing to go there because that would be a huge middle finger to AEW. And that's his new motivating factor. The crazy part to me is not that he's willing to go there. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part to me is that WWE is willing to take him. That is insanity. WWE is willing to bring back this man. That yes, he is a moneymaker. He can sell a lot of t-shirts, a lot of merch, a lot of stuff. But he undeniably, at this point, unequivocally, will cause issues. He will be a problem. If his contract is for longer than 1 year, you are basically 99% guaranteed that Phil Brooks, CM Punk, will be an issue in your locker room, will be an issue with your management team. He will create negative press for your company. Your publicly traded, recently merged company. So, unless you have him for a year on an edge contract, meaning you're going to wrestle maybe 10 times, maybe 5 times per year, so you don't need to be here, most of it. And even then, he finds a way to be annoyed and to create issues and to be pissed off and to just be more of a problem than an asset. That will happen. And the most unbelievable thing of all is that WWE seems ready to sign up for it. That, to me, is insane. So, what comes next? I don't know. What will happen? I'm not sure. The things that I know is when CM Punk gets healthy, WWE will most likely sign him. He will undoubtedly get a huge pop when he comes out the first time, when his music plays. He will sell a ridiculous amount of merch. Whoever he wrestles with, people will tune in for it. So all of those are wins for WWE and for CM Punk. I can also guarantee he will subliminally, but he will in promos talk shit about AEW. He will move on from that and inevitably start talking shit about current WWE superstars. He will have issues with people in management, with other wrestlers, and with how he is being booked. And he will, one way or another, work his way out of WWE. I hate to say it, and I would say I wish him nothing but success, because I don't want him to fail. I don't want anybody to have failure. For him, he's had so much success. And all his failure, I repeat, coming only at his own hand. When he inevitably does it again, I can't feel bad anymore. I can't think that somebody else should give him a chance. Because that's what I thought when he left WWE. But not anymore. You can think that when he's 25, oh, well, 25-year-olds, you're still young. You could think when he's 30, well, that company didn't treat him right. Maybe when he's 35, hey, he's living his best life. He wants to do what he wants to do. But, man, you're getting into 40 in wrestling. You're getting into your 40s. You are a made man. You get to say what you want to do and what you won't do. And you get offered contracts for record amount numbers, huge numbers, while making the case that you're going to work your way. And companies sign up for it and pay you for it. And yet still you mess those deals up. I can't say that if it doesn't work out, well, I hope that, something new comes along, or I can't wait to see what he does next, because I can't wait to see what he does next. I don't want to wait to see what he does next. I do not care anymore for what he does next. At the end of the day, what he's doing is more self-harm, professionally, thank God not personally, than it is beneficial to anybody, including himself. And he has just shown an inability to be happy, to be successful. Sorry, he is successful, to enjoy his success. And that being the case, if he ruins it again at 40 plus years old, there's nothing to say, man. There's nothing to say. He is not somebody that we should root for anymore, because, well, why would we root for somebody who is 44 years of age, has achieved every single goal he set for himself, and has then decided to light a match to all of that success over and over and over again, just because his ego can't take him getting a win, but accepting that win, and that there are people that are going to be jealous of it. He can't accept it. Everybody either must celebrate him or must face his wrath, because he's unwilling to take anything less than you saying that he is amazing and he is the best and yada, yada, yada. So I want to close this episode, went a little longer, it's been a while, by asking you, what do you think about CM Punk's career trajectory? What do you think about how he's ended his tenure in every company he's been with? How do you feel about the fact that after this last situation with AEW, that WWE will take him back? I want to hear your opinion. So, as always, thank you for listening, but follow up with me at The Guy Blog on X, formerly Twitter, on Instagram, on wherever you want. Orlando at theguyblog.com. Orlando at theguyblog.com. Let me hear what you're saying. YouTube comment, anywhere. I want to know what you think. But as always, thank you for the most valuable asset you have. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode, to listen to the podcast, subscribing here, subscribing on YouTube. I just appreciate it. Have an awesome day. Take care. Talk to you soon.